Money equals power. And that's exactly why the rich and powerful are doing everything they can to keep the most fundamental truths about making money hidden from you. It was Machiavelli who discovered that society loves having you poor, weak, and harmless. The ones in power want as many sheep to be part of a herd that makes their own lavish lifestyle and societal control possible. Why do you think you've never learned how to really make money in school? It's time to start defying their orders. Today, we break through the limits they've systematically put on your financial potential. We're about to reveal 55 of the darkest financial truths about the game of money that explain why the rich get richer while everyone else stays trapped in financial slavery. These aren't your usual investment tips or basic money advice. This is the end game of money mastery. Anyone can become rich. You just need to see the game of money for what it is. Every single one of these truths forms a crucial puzzle piece of the ultimate theory of money. Put all 55 of them together, and you finally unlock the key to financial freedom once and for all. Are you ready to crack the code and see why anyone can be a winner in this game? Truth number 1. School is designed to create workers. Unfortunately, your financial education was a carefully orchestrated deception. For years and years, you sat in classrooms learning facts that could never threaten the existing power structure. You memorized dates, formulas, and theories while one of the most important forms of personal knowledge, like how money actually works, was systematically withheld. This was a strategy left over from the times of the Industrial Revolution. Society needed obedient workers to do the simple jobs, like working in a factory, a mine, or any other generic occupation. Today, this societal need is still there, in the form of office workers. Machiavelli figured out a long time ago that the best way to control a population is to give them the illusion of education while withholding the knowledge that would really set them free. Keep them busy learning irrelevant information while the powerful pass down financial wisdom to their children behind closed doors. A horrifying statistic is that 2/3 of adults can't explain compound interest, don't understand how credit cards actually work, and can't distinguish between good debt and bad debt. They've never been taught to read financial statements or understand what drives stock prices. While you learned about which historic figure won a war 300 years ago, wealthy children learned about compound interest over dinner conversations. While you studied ancient history, they absorbed modern wealth-building strategies from their parents' business discussions. The result is a population of highly educated individuals who remain financially illiterate by design. And this educational deception goes even deeper than you imagine. Truth number 2. They weaponized compound interest against you. It was Albert Einstein who called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. He saw the tremendous potential power this relatively simple concept. Compound interest is the process where your money grows not just on the original amount you invest, but also on the extra interest that you accumulate over time, automatically. In other words, you earn interest on your interest. This creates exponential growth, the holy grail in finance. The longer you let money compound, the faster it multiplies. For example, $10,000 invested at 6% annually becomes about $20,000 in 10 years. $40,000 in 20 years, and $80,000 in 30 years, without adding more money. This process is the exact blueprint for Warren Buffett's whole strategy. He is the master of compound interest. But the disturbing twist here is that not only does half the population not understand this force that could build their wealth, but they also don't see how this same principle has been weaponized against them. This ignorance isn't accidental, but cultivated. Here's how the machine works against you. While you pay compound interest on credit cards, student loans, and mortgages, the wealthy earn compound interest on their investments. Your debt payments become their portfolio returns. Your financial struggle literally funds their wealth accumulation. A $5,000 credit card balance at 18% interest becomes $15,000 if you only make minimum payments. Most people never realize this when they swipe the card. They see a small monthly payment and think it's manageable. They don't understand they've just signed up for decades of wealth transfer to those who understand the long game. And that brings us straight to a third crucial truth to understand here. Truth number 3. Money equals power. Almost everything you've been taught about money is a lie. Money isn't just a medium of exchange. It's not just something you earn and spend. Money is concentrated human energy. It's stored time. It's power. Beyond comfort and security, money translates directly into your ability to influence, shape, and control outcomes in your life and in society. With wealth, you can buy freedom over your time, fund political campaigns or charities, control businesses that employ others, and access networks of decision-makers. Money lets you say no when others must say yes, and it amplifies your voice in ways that poverty cannot. It also provides leverage. Those with capital set terms, create opportunities, and sometimes even rewrite the rules through lobbying, ownership of media, or shaping markets. While money does not guarantee wisdom or morality, it does guarantee influence. Understanding this dynamic is key. If you want independence and agency over your life, building wealth isn't just about luxury, but much more about gaining the power to direct your own path and, if you choose, influence the world around you. And there is a fundamental truth you need to see to stop them from taking away ever greater pieces of your power every year. Truth number 4. Inflation steals your money. While you've been congratulating yourself for saving money in bank accounts earning less than 1% interest, inflation has been stealing your wealth at 3 to 4% annually. A common mistake is keeping savings in cash or low-yield accounts without realizing that inflation erodes their value. Money sitting idle loses purchasing power each year if it doesn't at least keep up with inflation. Those who don't understand this end up effectively getting poorer over time. Their saved dollars buy less and less. Your savings lose 2.5% of their worth every year, even more in times where inflation is significantly higher. After 20 years, half your wealth will be silently confiscated. You thought you were being responsible. You were actually being robbed in slow motion. Storing $10,000 of savings under your bed for 10 years becomes a horrifying scenario once you understand that 5% inflation per year would mean this $10,000 will then only be worth a little over $6,000. Meanwhile, the wealthy invest in assets that grow much faster than inflation, like stocks, real estate, and businesses. While your savings withers away, their wealth compounds. This leads us to the next uncomfortable insight. Truth number 5. Playing it safe is the riskiest strategy. Many people either fear all risk and avoid investing, or take on too much risk without proper knowledge. A lack of understanding of how investment risk and reward are related leads to one of two extremes: keeping money in ultra-safe, low-return places, or speculating recklessly. The real risk isn't market volatility. The real risk is working 40 years and having nothing to show for it because you were too afraid to invest. The real risk is not knowing how to balance risk, which means some stay in low-return investments that don't even beat inflation, while others might chase high-risk fads and lose money. While you've been avoiding the stock market because it seems risky, others have been building wealth through compound growth. While you've been keeping money in savings accounts, inflation has been eroding your purchasing power faster than you're earning interest. The wealthy learn to manage risk. They diversify and seek reasonable returns rather than shun it or bet the house. They understand that avoiding all risk doesn't protect you. It guarantees your financial destruction over a long enough timeline. But most people swing from one extreme to another, which reveals something about our conventional wisdom. Truth number 6. Traditional money advice is a trap. The general public often clings to traditional advice without question. They blindly accept stuff like, just work hard at a stable job, save money, buy a house, and you'll be fine. While there is wisdom in frugality and home ownership, these old rules are misleading if taken blindly. Like we saw before, simply saving cash backfires when interest rates are near zero and inflation is high. In that case, savers become losers in real value. Likewise, buying a house isn't always a guaranteed ticket to wealth if one stretches too far or the home doesn't appreciate. Working hard at a job will never make you rich. Jobs trade time for money, and there are only 24 hours in a day. No matter how diligently you work, your income is capped by the hours you can sell. The wealthy understand that real wealth comes from ownership, owning businesses, stocks, and real estate that work 24 hours a day. The wealthy know to question one-size-fits-all advice and adapt to current financial realities rather than relying on comforting old narratives. They read books on money instead of seeking generic advice from their economics professor. They follow a completely different playbook, prioritizing cash flow over net worth and buying assets that produce income. There's a disturbing reason why the truly valuable knowledge about money never made it to the masses. It's a form of cultural programming. Truth number 7, money is a taboo subject. In many households, money isn't discussed openly. It's a source of anxiety, shame, or secrecy. This taboo means people don't learn from family or friends about managing finances. Cultural and familial narratives tend to ingrain beliefs like money is evil, or people like us just don't get rich, which subconsciously limit ambition. The wealthy, on the other hand, are more likely to talk about investments, deals, and strategies within their networks, picking up tips and knowledge. When money is shrouded in silence or negativity, the general public misses out on valuable learning opportunities that the well-off take advantage of. This financial silence is the exact form of social control. Keep people from discussing money, and they'll never learn the strategies that would liberate them. In elite circles, financial education flows freely from generation to generation. When you hear the wrong stuff about money for long enough, this cultural programming turns into something even more insidious. Truth number 8, the scarcity mindset becomes your prison. Growing up or living with constant financial struggle breeds a mindset of scarcity. The feeling that no matter what, one can never get ahead. People who have been burdened by debt or poverty for long become fatalistic and stop trying to improve their situation. This financial fatigue leads to self-defeating decisions, like assuming that there's no point in saving or investing and continuing poor habits. Wealthy individuals do everything they can to build an abundance mindset. They believe opportunities are out there and stay motivated to seek them. This scarcity psychology creates a self-reinforcing prison. Scarcity thinking leads to scarcity behaviors, which produce scarcity results, which reinforce scarcity thinking. Breaking this cycle requires rewiring fundamental beliefs about money, opportunity, and your capabilities. Overcoming a deeply ingrained belief that wealth is unattainable is crucial. Otherwise, people remain in the same cycle that keeps them poor. Anyone can become rich. You just need to see the game of money for what it is. Get rid of the limiting information you know and open your mind to new concepts, strategies, and practical knowledge that is about to follow in these next dark truths. Truth number 9, impulse control separates the rich from the poor. If you want to build wealth, you'll need to teach yourself to delay gratification, sacrificing feeling good now to benefit in a massive way later. Many fall into the trap of impulsive spending. Our consumption-driven culture encourages us to treat ourselves and buy rather than save for tomorrow. Without self-control, paychecks disappear on non-essentials and momentary pleasures. The wealthy understand the value of patience. They invest and allow time for compounding, whereas those with less discipline often give up future gains for short-term comfort. This inability to defer gratification, choosing a new gadget or luxury today instead of investing that money, is a key reason the general public struggles to accumulate wealth. Every dollar spent on immediate pleasure is a dollar that could have been multiplying for decades. This is why you should learn to sequence your gratification intelligently. Buy assets first, and let those assets fund your lifestyle down the line. The rich invest before they consume. They build wealth before they display it. Truth number 10. Relying on luck is hopeless. A surprising number of people pin their financial hopes on things like the lottery, gambling, or speculative get-rich-quick schemes. Instead of consistent saving or investing, they bank on a lucky break. Someone deep in debt might spend money on lottery tickets hoping for a windfall, a phenomenon which is just a poor financial choice driven by desperation. The odds of such methods paying off are incredibly small and therefore basically useless. Meanwhile, money that could have been invested or used to pay debt is wasted. The wealthy generally do not rely on luck. They follow plans, invest in reliable assets, and understand that wealth grows from strategy and patience, not a jackpot. Believing wealth will magically arrive keeps many people poor and disappointed. They stay trapped in the game of hope, which for 99.9% of us will never materialize. This false hope prevents people from taking the consistent actions that actually build wealth, which the next truth shines a light on perfectly. Truth number 11. No budget equals no control. Almost everyone fails to keep track of where their money actually goes. Without a budget, it's easy for expenses to consistently exceed income, or for raises to simply vanish in lifestyle upgrades. People who don't budget often find they have no savings left at the end of the month, wondering where the money went. Not budgeting is a telltale sign of lifestyle creep, where spending rises hand in hand with earnings. The wealthy commonly keep close tabs on cash flow. They know their income, expenses, and plan for savings and investments first. By not planning their spending, many individuals let small daily purchases and impulse buys add up, derailing their ability to accumulate wealth. Start playing this mini-game in the bigger game of money, and before you know it, you'll start to become really good at leveling up your daily financial decisions. It becomes truly fun to know what you're doing. But even worse than not budgeting is the trap that captures people when their income increases. Truth number 12. Lifestyle inflation holds you back. When the average person gets a raise or a better paying job, instead of saving the extra money, they often increase their spending in equal measure. This phenomenon is known as lifestyle inflation or lifestyle creep. Someone might upgrade their car, dining habits, or home as soon as their income grows, leaving them with no more savings than before. Some people actually worsen their financial situation by spending more as they earn more. The wealthy avoid this trap. They typically raise their investment and savings rate with each income increase. The general public often treads water financially because every pay bump is absorbed by new expenses, preventing your net worth from growing. Of course, it's okay to enjoy a pay bump a little bit, but try to put systems in place to actually enhance your life in the long run, and not just stay stuck in the same financial cycle. This lifestyle inflation trap connects to a fundamental problem with how people think about money. Truth number 13. Salary equals modern slavery. A startling number of households live paycheck to paycheck with virtually no savings. The United States has been described as essentially a paycheck-to-paycheck nation. When 59% of people can't handle a $1,000 surprise expense, it means most people are spending every dollar they earn. In this mode, it's impossible to get ahead. There's no money working to generate wealth because it's all consumed by current bills. This cycle is extremely hard to break out of, as ongoing expenses and debt repayments eat the entire paycheck. At the same time, this gives your boss or your company insane power over you. You become terrified of losing your job, as it seems like the only way to survive. The wealthy break free from this form of modern slavery by always living below their means, spending less than they earn, and thus freeing up part of their income to invest. If one continues spending everything one earns, accumulating wealth becomes nearly impossible. You are able to break out of this paycheck-to-paycheck trap by implementing the most fundamental wealth-building principles step by step, starting with dark truth number 14. Truth number 14. Pay yourself first or stay poor forever. A critical difference in behavior is that wealthy individuals pay themselves first, meaning they prioritize putting money into savings and investments as soon as they get income. Many in the general public do the opposite. They pay all their bills and spend on discretionary items, and only if anything is left do they even consider saving a little bit. If saving is treated as the last priority, it tends not to happen. If your savings haven't increased after a few raises, it's a sign you are spending all of your income. Not prioritizing savings is disastrous for long-term wealth. It leads to stagnant or non-existent savings and investment accounts. The wealthy often automate their savings and investments, treating those as mandatory expenses to themselves, ensuring consistent wealth building. This systematic approach removes willpower from the equation and guarantees progress. Truth number 15. Credit cards are weapons of mass destruction. One of the fastest ways to stay poor is to carry high-interest debts like credit card balances or payday loans. These debts grow rapidly due to compound interest working against the borrower. It seems so easy and beneficial to just pay something with your credit card now, but the problems really start to pile up later. A $5,000 credit card balance at 15% interest, if one only makes minimum payments, balloons to over $15,000 owed after 10 years. Like we saw in the second truth, many people don't realize this because they don't understand compounding interest and just see the small minimum payment. The general public often ends up paying huge interest costs over time, money that flows to lenders instead of building their own wealth. Not understanding how quickly debt snowballs leaves folks consumed by debt and unable to build wealth. Wealthy are usually careful to avoid bad debt or pay it off aggressively. Those who do become wealthy even use compound interest in reverse through investments to earn interest, rather than pay it, a fundamental difference. It's time you start understanding how to make money work for you instead of against you. Truth number 16. Investing paralysis keeps you poor. A major reason many stay poor is simply not participating in investments. Large numbers of people leave their savings in zero-interest bank accounts or in cash because of fear or lack of knowledge about investing. By not investing, they miss out on the growth that stocks, bonds, or other assets provide over years and decades. Historically, broad stock market indexes have averaged around 7 to 10% annual returns over the long run. Someone who never invests will never get those gains. Their money will just sit and stagnate. Wealthy people make their money work for them by investing in businesses, stocks, real estate, and other assets that generate additional income. If you never send your dollars out to earn more dollars, you're limited to just what you yourself can earn from working. And that will never be enough to become financially independent. Many in the general public either find investing intimidating or think it's something only rich people do, and this attitude effectively keeps them from ever becoming rich. Machiavelli would tell you that fortune favors the bold. Playing life 100% safe will never lead anywhere. For many people, deciding to start investing sooner than later is a crucial step to take. Truth number 17. Starting late destroys your wealth potential. Even those who do invest often start far too late in life to maximize compound growth. The wealthy and financially savvy know that time in the market is more important than timing the market. By starting early, even with small amounts, you're able to harness decades of compounding. Many people delay saving for retirement or investing until their 40s or 50s, by which time they have already lost quite some precious years. Starting 10 years earlier makes a massive difference. Obviously, don't just start blindly investing as soon as possible, but start laying the groundwork to get ready to make well-thought-out financial decisions. The sooner you're able to start this process, the better. The general public often only wakes up to investing late, perhaps after paying off other debts or when retirement looms, and by then the lost time cannot be recovered, keeping their lifetime wealth lower than it could have been. To help with this, start getting rid of the next classic psychological money trap. Truth number 18. Market timing and trend chasing destroy wealth. Lacking a solid understanding of long-term investing, Average investors often try to time the market, jumping in and out based on headlines, or chase hot investment fads, whether it was .com stocks, cryptocurrencies, or meme stocks. This usually results in buying high when everyone is euphoric and selling low when panic sets in, which is the opposite of a successful strategy. Additionally, following the herd on trendy investments without doing proper research is a common pitfall. The wealthy and experienced investors usually stick to long-term plans, diversify, and perhaps even take advantage of market dips by buying quality assets at discount. The general public, however, tends to dump stocks during a downturn, locking in losses, and then only return after a big rally, missing the gains. By trying to outsmart the market in the short term or listening to speculative hype, many people sabotage their own portfolios and stay poor. Patience and discipline, hallmarks of wealthy investors, are replaced by fear and greed cycles for the uninformed investor. This emotional form of decision-making reveals another critical error. Truth number 19. Never bet everything on one horse. Don't put all your eggs in one basket is classic advice that Machiavelli would warn you with here. He was a firm believer in that it's a disastrous tactic to bet everything on one thing, as something unexpected could always happen, even when you thoroughly researched, did due diligence, and mapped out worst-case scenarios. It's so often individuals decide to invest, but only in one thing, say, a single company's stock, perhaps their employer, or only in real estate, or in a business venture. If that one investment falters, their entire net worth is wiped out. The general public might also think their house is enough of an investment and not invest in other assets, resulting in an undiversified portfolio heavily tied to one local real estate market. The truly rich diversify their holdings, stocks, bonds, businesses, real estate, to spread risk. They also diversify within those categories, owning a broad mix of stocks across industries. A lack of diversification usually is a direct result of not understanding investment options, or from overconfidence in one's own company or a friend's venture. Unfortunately, it leaves your wealth vulnerable. One bad stroke of luck or an industry downturn can hit a non-diversified investor extremely hard, preventing wealth from growing or even causing total ruin. Truth number 20. Master your emotions. The true Machiavellian money master has his emotions completely under control, because a lack of understanding of market cycles causes many average investors to make emotional decisions, like panic selling during a downturn or exuberantly overbuying during a boom. Emotions like fear and greed, if not kept in check, lead to buying high and selling low. During a stock market crash, those without a long-term perspective might sell all their investments in fear of further losses, locking in a loss and missing the eventual rebound that almost always follows. A much smarter investor often views downturns as buying opportunities and are prepared for the volatility. The average man tends to stay poor because of this never-ending cycle of behavior. When markets drop, they lose confidence and exit, missing the recovery. And when markets soar, they jump in just too late in the game. This buy high, sell low cycle is the most common mistake unexperienced investors make. It's much more desirable to set an investment plan and stick to it, rather than being swayed by every market headline. Develop systematic approaches that remove emotion from decision-making. This emotional mastery directly connects to opportunities that most people completely ignore. Truth number 21. Employee benefits are golden opportunities in disguise. Beyond salary, many jobs offer benefits that are actually able to improve your financial position, like stock purchase plans, discounted insurance, tuition reimbursement, and health savings accounts. A great first step could be to fully capitalize on these. Many companies offer an employee stock purchase plan, where workers are able to buy company stock at a discount, virtually guaranteeing an immediate gain. Many employees ignore it out of unfamiliarity or distrust. Or they might not contribute to a health savings account, which has triple tax benefits, missing a chance to build a medical emergency fund. Wealthy individuals and those in power tend to squeeze every bit of value out of compensation packages. They see benefits as part of their wealth-building arsenal. People who ignore these hidden compensations effectively leave money on the table that could have been growing their net worth. But even maximizing benefits pales in comparison to understanding the fundamental difference between income sources. Truth number 22, salary versus equity. The normal man often focuses on earning a higher salary instead of building equity, like ownership in assets or businesses. Yet nearly all truly wealthy people got that way through owning things: companies, stocks, real estate, and not through a paycheck. This is possibly the most fundamental distinction in the money game you have to master. The only way someone can truly get rich is through equity. Billionaires' fortunes come from the companies they own shares in, not the salary they draw. Elon Musk is a perfect example. Almost all his net worth is tied to Tesla stock. Many workers just aim for a slight raise in salary or a better-paying job and never acquire equity in anything. They don't participate in profit sharing or stock options, don't start or invest in businesses, and thus their income is always tied to their personal effort and time. The wealthy know that owning even a small piece of a growing venture can far outstrip what you can earn by labor alone. Those who remain poor often never make the mental shift to seek equity or ownership. They might even decline equity offers for a little more salary, not realizing the long-term wealth potential they give up. This salary-focused thinking prevents people from understanding probably the most powerful concept in wealth building. Truth number 23. Passive income is better than active income. The uncomfortable truth is that most people directly trade their time for money. It's the only model they know. You work X hours to get Y dollars. The limitation is that there are only so many hours you can work, and if you stop, the money stops. The wealthy understand the importance of passive income, money that is earned with minimal ongoing effort. They invest in assets that generate cash flow. Think of rental properties, dividend-paying stocks, blogs, books, social media content, or businesses, where others do the work. This way, their money works 24 hours a day for them. Many in the general public never develop any passive income streams. They rely solely on their active job income. This keeps them on a treadmill. If they want more money, they have to personally work more hours or take a second job. It's exhausting and inherently limited. This lifestyle has a glass ceiling. By not directing some of your income into investments that generate their own income, you never escape the cycle of working for every dollar. In essence, the wealthy get interest, rents, and dividends to do the earning, while the average person shoulders all the earning power alone. To kick off this passive income adventure, you need to understand something most people never learn. Truth number 24. Personal education is the ultimate investment. People who remain financially stuck often neglect to improve their earning capacity through education or skill development. In economies where higher skills and education often command higher pay, the wealthy typically either have valuable education and skills themselves, or they hire people who do. The average person is usually hesitant to spend money on a course, training, or even a career change that could increase their income in the long run. They see it as an expense rather than an investment. Over a career, failing to upgrade your skills means stagnating wages or even job loss as industries change. On the other hand, learning new in-demand skills or obtaining credentials will lead you to promotions, better jobs, or even the ability to start your own business. These are all pathways to higher wealth. Those who remain poor also don't have mentors or examples to encourage continuous learning, whereas the wealthy often seek out mentors, coaches, and other lifelong learners in the realm of business and finance. This continuous learning will quickly lead you to another crucial distinction to make. Truth number 25. Good debt versus bad debt. A prevalent misunderstanding is treating debt as universally bad, without distinguishing between good debt used to acquire appreciating assets or generate income, and bad debt used to buy things that depreciate or consume income. Many people either avoid debt entirely, which means missing opportunities like a reasonable mortgage or a business loan that could increase your net worth, or you even misuse debt solely for consumption. To become a truly wealthy person, you need to learn to leverage good debt to your advantage. This might be a low-interest loan to invest in a rental property or to expand a business, expecting returns well above the cost of the loan. Most people are inherently debt-averse, never borrowing even when it could help them invest in a home or education, or they are debt-dependent in the wrong way, running up credit cards. Not understanding this nuance means they level the playing field against themselves. A strategy of the wealthy is to use good debt to get richer, while poor people either avoid it or drown in bad debt. Before you know it, this concept could lead to generational advantages that compound wealth for years to come. Truth number 26. Wealth creates wealth. There's a saying that it's easier to get to home plate if you were born on third base. A factor that keeps many people poor is not recognizing or not having access to the advantages that come with existing wealth. Machiavelli figured this out a long time ago. He truly believed that your circle of people have tremendous influence over you. You become who you surrounded yourself with. A Machiavellian man only surrounds himself with people he either trusts, needs, or can learn something from. For example, those born into rich families have built-in networks, capital, and safety nets that allow them to take profitable risks others can't. A well-off young adult might get seed money from family to start a business or have connections to land a high-paying job or investors. If that venture fails, they have a cushion to try again. At the same time, someone from a low-income background has no such margin for error. One misstep could mean financial disaster, so it's harder to take the kind of risks that often lead to big rewards. The advantages don't stop there. Rich parents can also afford better education for their kids, tutors, and unpaid internships that lead to lucrative careers. The normal, working-class family, especially those from historically disadvantaged groups, often start with negative net worth from student loans and zero connections. You have to build, know, and utilize your networks shamelessly. Nepotism and connections are common knowledge in those circles. It's not a level playing field, and lack of awarenesses or access to these hidden boosts keeps wealth circulation largely among those who already have it. One thing the people in these wealthy circles are well aware of and use relentlessly to their advantage is dark truth number 27. Truth number 27. Always buy, never rent. Owning a home has historically been a primary way middle-class families build wealth, because as you pay down a mortgage, you build equity and housing values often increase over time. Renters, on the other hand, do not accumulate any equity. Their rent is simply an expense. Over decades, this creates a huge wealth gap. Every piece of data shows that the average homeowner's net worth is thousands of dollars higher than the average renter's net worth. This gap has even grown to historic highs. As a homeowner, you benefit from property appreciation and debt paydown. A mortgage acts like a forced savings that grows your equity, whereas renters typically have nothing to show for years of rent payments except receipts. So many people today remain renters, either by circumstance or by thinking renting is a temporary solution, but then staying stuck for years doing the same thing. The wealthy, of course, not only tend to own their homes, they often own multiple properties, each rising in value and all of them earning them rental income. Owning versus renting is a complex personal decision, but the statistical reality is that home ownership is one of your quickest ways towards much more long-term wealth. Those who never manage to buy property miss out on this avenue completely. This naturally brings us to a crucial distinction between a real asset like a home and a fake asset like a car. Truth number 28. Depreciating assets destroy your wealth. So many people spend a large portion of their income on things that lose value over time. Think of brand new cars, the latest smartphones, electronics, or fashionable furniture and clothes. All of these typically lose a significant percentage of their value as soon as you buy them. While some of these purchases are necessary or bring joy, excessive spending on depreciating assets will be a huge drag on your net worth. Every dollar put into a new car or a boat will likely come back as only cents on the dollar when you sell it, or nothing at all. The much better option is to put money into an appreciating asset like stocks, real estate, or your own business. The rich and powerful are very conscious of this difference. They typically don't mind buying used cars or holding on to an old phone if it means more money stays invested in things that actually grow. They might splurge occasionally, but often only after their assets have generated the cash to pay for it. If you want to stay poor forever, a great strategy is to constantly finance new vehicles or keep upgrading consumer goods, never realizing you are sinking your capital into items that won't help you financially down the road. It's not that the wealthy never enjoy luxuries, it's just that they often let their investments pay for them, whereas the average person uses credit or their primary income, effectively trading away future wealth for something that only declines in value. Basically, you need to make a mindset shift here that acts as a fundamental change in how you think about money, which is exactly what Truth 29 will be extremely helpful with. Truth number 29. Your thoughts become your financial reality. A wealth mindset begins in the mind. Our dominant thoughts act like magnets attracting people and circumstances that match those thoughts. In other words, if you constantly envision success and abundance, you are more likely to create opportunities for wealth. If you dwell on fear of poverty, you subconsciously sabotage your financial outcomes. Cultivating positive, success-oriented thoughts about money is a necessary first step toward riches. And that goes much further than just the basics of positive thinking. You need to program your subconscious mind to recognize and pursue wealth-building opportunities. Most people have been conditioned to have negative associations with money and wealth. They think rich people are greedy or that money is the root of all evil. These beliefs create subconscious resistance to wealth accumulation. Billionaires are well aware that their relationship with money starts in their minds. They see money as a tool for good, as a way to create freedom and real power in this world. This positive relationship with money makes them more likely to pursue and achieve it. They relentlessly aim positive money affirmations at their mind until it becomes second nature to them. You can do this too. Consciously look for the positive side of money, investing, and opportunities. Convince yourself that anyone can become rich, because this is actually true. You might not believe it yet, but you're about to. Changing your money mindset is a big part of the overall foundation of all other wealth-building activities. Without the right mental programming, you'll keep sabotaging your own efforts to build wealth. The next step is to combine this mental foundation with clear direction. Truth number 30. Desire plus goals equals wealth. Wealth creation starts with a definite goal and a burning desire to achieve it. The starting point of all achievement is desire, not a mere wish, but an obsessive, passionate want, backed by purpose. Take time to clearly define what rich means to you, whether it's a target net worth, financial freedom by a certain age, or a lifestyle. This clarity of purpose will fuel your motivation and help you to devise concrete plans to reach your goal. Most people have vague wishes about being wealthy, but never set specific, measurable goals with deadlines. Without clear targets, your efforts remain unfocused and ineffective. The people that made it financially have specific financial goals with definite timelines. They know exactly how much they want to accumulate and by when. This clarity allows them to work backwards and create detailed plans for achieving their objectives. This might even be as specific as daily monetary goals. Gamify your goals and see how quickly they become fun to pursue. Having goals isn't good enough by itself, though, without unshakable belief in your ability to achieve them. Truth number 31. You need extreme belief in your financial future. Believing deeply in your ability to attain wealth is essential. Machiavelli wrote about an absolute self-confidence and optimism that you will achieve your goals, that you have what it takes. unshakable faith is the ultimate building block for the persistence and resilience needed for long-term success. Even when a financial plan seems impossible, trust in yourself, and the process is crucial. This confidence can carry you through temporary failures on the way to fortune. Most people don't truly believe they can become wealthy. They might hope for it or wish for it, but deep down, they don't believe it's possible for them. This lack of faith becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The rich and powerful have an unshakable belief in their ability to create wealth because they know it's possible for everyone. As long as you have access to the right knowledge and never quit, you will arrive at your destination eventually. This belief allows you to persist through setbacks and continue pursuing opportunities even when things look difficult. The best way to develop this belief in yourself is to combine actual evidence of your progress with constant reinforcement through positive self-talk. Truth number 32, program your money mind. Positive affirmations and self-talk are tools to reinforce your money mindset. Using autosuggestion means repeatedly telling yourself encouraging, goal-focused statements to influence your subconscious mind. Regularly affirming, "I have what it takes to become rich," will eventually embed that belief into your mind. What you tell yourself matters immensely. By consciously replacing self-doubt with affirmations of success, you align your mind with your financial goals. Most people engage in negative self-talk about money. They tell themselves they're probably not good with money or that they'll never be rich. This negative programming creates subconscious resistance. In that scenario, you are building a mind that is actively working against you. You need to understand the power of autosuggestion and deliberately program your mind with positive beliefs about money. This can be an unlimited amount of different beliefs, as long as they lead to a success-oriented mindset. And then, you apply this powerful mindset to obtain the ultimate financial weapon. Truth number 33, specialized knowledge is a financial weapon. General knowledge will never make you rich. If it did, everyone would already be rich. You need practical expertise. This could be in real estate markets, stock valuation, coding, crypto, content marketing, or any high-value skill. You have to commit to becoming part of the 1% in your field. That's where all the money is made. Millionaires continuously acquire specialized knowledge relevant to their endeavors. First, they become one of the best, and then they do everything they can to stay there. Investing in courses, books, or mentorship to deepen your expertise, and then applying that knowledge to create value and income is how an educated mind finds opportunities that others miss. You've probably noticed that almost all your friends and family members stop learning after their years of formal education end. From that moment on, they will forever rely on outdated information. They avoid developing deep expertise in any particular area, remaining generalists in a world that rewards specialists. The wealthy understand that knowledge is the ultimate leverage. They become experts in their chosen fields and use that expertise to create massive value in whichever way they want. And we all know that value creation equals wealth. A practical Machiavellian trick will help you to get started in the most effective way possible. Truth number 34, quick decisions versus procrastination. If you want to become rich, you have to learn to be decisive. The truly powerful make decisions promptly and stick to them, whereas the unsuccessful are slow to decide and quick to change their minds. Machiavelli was very blunt about this. You need to gather relevant facts quickly, decide on a strategy, and then stay the course. Only change your strategy when new information comes to light, not when things just get difficult. Indecision and procrastination are one of the most common modern enemies of success. To grow rich, practice making clear decisions about your money, jobs, investments, purchases, without ruminating about them endlessly. While others hesitate and analyze opportunities to death, the rich and powerful make decisions quickly based on available information. They understand that perfect information is rarely available and that speed matters more than perfection. Most people procrastinate on important financial decisions. They delay starting to invest, put off buying real estate, or hesitate to start businesses out of fear. By the time they finally decide to act, the opportunity has often passed. You need to know that decisiveness and perfection are polar opposites. Make decisions quickly and adjust course as needed, instead of waiting for the non-existent perfect conditions. Once you master quick decision-making, there's a crucial ingredient you need to overcome any obstacle on your way to financial freedom. Truth number 35. True persistence is a superpower. Building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint, and setbacks are inevitable. The ability to persevere in the face of difficulties is a foundational principle for success. 80% of people quit at the first signs of defeat. The remaining ones quit after the second, third, or fourth try. It's the actual millionaires and billionaires of our world that keep persisting through failures, learning and adjusting until they eventually succeed. Each setback or financial loss serves as a lesson and never a final verdict. If you never quit, you will never fail. This might be a business idea that flopped or a bad investment. You need to analyze what went wrong, adapt, and then try again. Persistence is to character as carbon is to steel. It strengthens you and turns you into an unbreakable player of the game. It's generally known that most people give up too early. They try something once, face failure or difficulty, and conclude it doesn't work. They don't understand that success often comes after multiple failures and adjustments. The wealthy see each failure as the perfect training ground for a learning experience, and ultimately, an unavoidable stepping stone to success. They persist long after others have given up, and this persistence makes the true difference between success and failure. And this is the point where you'll have to build your own tribe of exceptional people. Truth number 36. Your money tribe multiplies your power. Don't go at it alone on your financial journey. The idea of an alliance of excellence, a supportive network of people with shared goals and complementary skills, is crucial in the money game. It was Machiavelli himself who continuously surrounded himself with like-minded, success-oriented individuals who are able to provide knowledge, feedback, and motivation. This might be a group of investors who share tips, or entrepreneurial friends who brainstorm business ideas together. Your personal tribe creates synergy. When two or more minds coordinate in harmony, they produce a third mind of heightened intelligence. Your network multiplies your financial intelligence and open doors that would remain closed if you work in isolation. Most people surround themselves with others who share their limited financial mindset. They complain about money together, but never take action to improve their situations. The wealthy deliberately cultivate relationships with other successful people. They understand that your network is your net worth and invest time and energy in building valuable relationships. This network effect truly starts to accelerate when you combine it with never-ending skill development. Truth number 37. Financial intelligence pays the highest returns. One of the most important financial principles is that the single most powerful asset we all have is our mind. If it is trained well, it becomes, and stays, your reliable source of enormous wealth. Knowledge of money, how investing, taxes, debt, and markets work, pays the best interest. Many people never build wealth because they lack the most basic financial literacy, not because they lack opportunity. Money without financial intelligence is soon lost. Lottery winners and high-paid athletes often go broke due to poor money management. To avoid that fate, continually educate yourself on wealth-building principles. Seek out new books, new blogs, new mentors. An informed person will spot risks and opportunities that an ignorant person will miss. Financial education is a lifelong process. If you constantly study markets, investment opportunities, and business principles, you'll quickly gain an unfair advantage over everyone else, especially over the ones who stop learning after school, which is almost everyone. And that brings us to possibly the most basic and powerful principle in all of finance that you were never taught in school. Truth number 38. assets versus liabilities. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out. You make more and more money gradually when you focus on acquiring assets that appreciate or produce income. Perfect examples of this are stocks, bonds, real estate, websites, and equity in growing businesses. It's most likely the biggest differentiator with the poor and middle class, who won't stop accumulating liabilities they think are assets. These liabilities include cars, expensive clothing, unnecessary gadgets, and expensive vacations. To become rich, train yourself to distinguish assets from liabilities in your life. Before purchasing something significant, ask yourself, will this generate income or grow in value, or will it cost me money over time? Prioritize buying true assets and avoid piling up payments on fancy cars, luxury electronics, or a house bigger than you need. The wealthy buy assets first. Let those assets generate cash flow, and then use that cash flow to purchase liabilities if you really want to. In that way, you let yourself earn it. With that approach, you make sure your lifestyle is funded by your investments and not your ongoing labor. It's when the money from your assets starts rolling in, when you have to watch out for the biggest enemy of success we know from the movies. Truth number 39, greed is not good. It sounds so obvious, but we have to follow Machiavelli's lead here, as he was very adamant on this being a crucial warning for every man that becomes rich and powerful. Emotional decision-making is the enemy of wealth, and especially greed leads to poor choices if unchecked. When things are going well and stock prices soar, your business is making money, or you got a huge raise on your salary, greed starts lurking around the corner. This is the moment where most people start overplaying their hand. They start taking too much risk, make huge gambles, and often crash and burn. This might even mean going too deep into the lavish lifestyle, partying, gambling, and spending money like you could never become broke again. It's basically the Hollywood script of your average Wall Street movie playing out perfectly. Machiavelli stated that in times of peace, you still have to prepare for war. To succeed financially, cultivate emotional discipline. Don't let greed push you into reckless schemes. Have a solid plan and keep sticking to it. Decide a buy and sell strategy based on analysis, not headlines. By keeping a cool head when others panic or get overly exuberant, you'll make rational decisions that preserve and grow your wealth in the long run. The wealthy understand that when others start to become greedy, you sell whatever they're buying. Truth number 40, work to learn, not just to earn. A job's primary value in the early stages of wealth building is the skills and experience it gives you, not the paycheck. Seek jobs that teach valuable skills, even if the salary is lower, instead of jobs that pay more but offer no growth. Working in sales will teach you communication and negotiation. Working at a startup teaches you business operations. These skills are assets you carry forward to entrepreneurial ventures or higher-paying roles later. You're never more than one skill away from great wealth. Instead of viewing your job solely as a source of income, see it as a free form of real-world education and a stepping stone. Continuously broaden your skill set. Learn about accounting, marketing, technology, because the more you learn, the more you eventually earn. Most people focus solely on their paycheck and ignore the learning opportunities their jobs provide. They do the minimum required and never develop skills that dramatically increase their earning potential. But learning is meaningless without the courage to face inevitable setbacks. Truth number 41, failure is your greatest teacher. Another key difference between the rich and powerful and everyone else is how they handle failure. Winners are not afraid of losing. Losers are. Every wealthy person has stories of businesses that flopped or investments that went south. Don't avoid all risks, but understand that failure is the best teacher. You need to hop onto the learning curve of life as quickly as possible. When you take calculated risks, sometimes you will fail, and that's okay. Analyze what went wrong, learn the lesson, and try again with that new knowledge. If things don't work out, treat it as tuition in the school of life. A true winner is happy with a failure because he knows he just learned something new that others haven't. The best way to imprint this new perspective into your own mind is to truly integrate the philosophy you'll discover in the next truth. Truth number 42. Find your why. Becoming rich isn't easy. It requires sacrifice and effort, so you need a strong personal motivation to keep you going. Everyone wants to be rich, but not everyone is willing to do what it takes. You have to clarify for yourself why you want financial freedom. It could be to achieve independence and control over your time, to provide a better life for your family, to support a cause you care about, or simply to not have money worries in old age. Write down your compelling reason for seeking wealth and remind yourself of it when challenges arise. This why will fuel your discipline. It will be easier to save and invest consistently if you're driven by a vision of retiring your parents, moving to your dream country, or funding your children's education. Without a clear purpose, it's hard to persevere on the wealth-building path. Friedrich Nietzsche said it best: "He who has a strong enough why can endure almost anyhow." It's the why that will help you through the most challenging parts of your journey. Which brings us to an excellent strategy of the rich to get started on your epic journey to financial heaven. Truth number 43. Living below your means is a cheat code. Never confuse your necessary expenses with your desires. Most people spend every dollar they make, mistaking wants for needs. To grow rich, spend less than you earn, consistently, on a day-to-day basis. As your income starts to grow, resist the urge to inflate your lifestyle with it. Because if you do, even a high earner ends up more broke than someone who makes a third of the money he makes. Analyze your expenses, which are truly essential, and which could be reduced or eliminated. Our necessary expenses often expand with our income unless we consciously restrain them. By living slightly below your means, you free up money to save and invest every single month. Step off the treadmill of mindless earning and spending, and work towards a much more rewarding financial future. The gap between income and expenses is where all the wealth is created. Maximize it by living below your means and investing the difference. Within a relatively short time, your money will start multiplying. Truth number 44. Make your money multiply or watch it die. Saving is step one, but as you know by now, simply storing cash won't make you rich. You must invest your savings so that they grow. Make your money multiply by putting it to work in profitable investments. Figure out which stocks, bonds, index funds, real estate options, or business ventures are most likely to generate returns. Focus on any asset with a reasonable expectation of appreciating or yielding returns. Then, let the magic of compound interest do its job to turn regular investments into substantial sums of money over time. Money invested at a 7% annual return doubles roughly every 10 years. By reinvesting your earnings, the gains only start to snowball even quicker. The wealthy basically see each dollar as an employee whose job it is to earn even more dollars. Follow their lead. Don't let your money sit idle, and never spend the nest egg that should be compounding for your future. This investment strategy must then be protected from common pitfalls. Truth number 45. Guard against losses or lose everything. Always avoid schemes that are too good to be true and investments you don't understand. If someone promises you unbelievably high returns with no risk, run the other way. Machiavelli would tell you to follow your instincts when encountering the lie of a manipulator. And as we all know, the financial world is riddled with schemers, manipulators, and blatant liars. It's those evil people that are well aware of a fundamental Machiavellian principle, that people tend to focus only on what you appear to be, while few really know what you really are. Think of these people as wolves in sheep's clothing. Many fortunes have been lost to speculative manias, fraudulent schemes, or simply investing blindly in things beyond one's circle of competence. Therefore, you need to have a strong defensive strategy. Insure against major losses, maintain cash reserves, and thoroughly research opportunities before committing money. Always insist on a margin of safety. Don't risk a lot to gain a little. It's better to accept a modest but reliable return than to chase a high-return bet that could wipe you out. Preserve capital by being prudently skeptical and informed. Most people are attracted to get-rich-quick schemes and high-risk investments because they promise fast returns. They don't understand that protecting capital is more important than maximizing returns. The wealthy focus on capital preservation first and growth second. They would rather make modest, consistent returns than risk large losses chasing spectacular gains. Once you protect your money and start earning, you then start exploring deeper, more lucrative options. Truth number 46. Always increase your earning ability. Never stop looking for new earning opportunities. Standing still is the same as moving backward in the rapidly developing world we live in today. Update your skills, get certifications, learn new technologies, or even develop entirely new streams of income. In a fast-changing economy, skills become obsolete quickly. Commit to being a lifelong learner so you remain competitive and command higher pay or profits. Become a master of the deeper foundations of the whole game instead of just a couple loose parts. If you're an entrepreneur, sharpen your business acumen. If you're an investor, study new markets and strategies. As you become more knowledgeable and skilled, your value in the marketplace grows, often exponentially. Even in the worst-case scenario where you would lose everything, your advanced earning ability will make sure you'll make it all back one day. There's many potential mentors out there who can tell you this is absolutely true. Which brings us straight to number 47. Truth number 47. Only seek advice from the wise. No one knows everything, so learn from those who do. Do not take advice on finance from a bricklayer, but get your financial guidance from those who've proven themselves competent in that arena. If you want to excel at investing, study successful investors or consult a trusted financial advisor. If you want to start a company, talk to experienced entrepreneurs. If you want to learn the hidden truths of money and power, listen to Machiavelli. You could even like this video and subscribe to the channel and start bending the algorithm into the right shape, so this type of deep, fundamental knowledge about money and power will reach you much easier on a daily basis. The ones that get it have mentors, read books, and surround themselves with financially savvy peers. Collective wisdom prevents costly mistakes. Acting on random tips from uninformed friends or baseless rumors is dangerous. Never ask a barber if you need a haircut. Don't forget to educate yourself enough to discern good advice from bad. It's especially the next foundational truth that would make Machiavelli proud if you were to finally master it. Truth number 48. Money equals freedom, not things. Ultimately, you have to stop seeing money as just being a tool for buying things or gaining power, because it's even more about buying your time and freedom. The highest form of power is the ability to wake up and say, I can do whatever I want today. Financial independence is measured by how many days forward you could survive if you stopped working today. Whether your goal is to retire early or simply have flexibility, keep in mind that wealth is a means to freedom, not just accumulation. For many, the motivation to be wealthy comes from valuing experiences, relationships, or personal pursuits over mandatory work. Money in the bank translates to options, to work less, to travel, to help family, or to take risks on new ventures. The ability to control your time is a universal ingredient in happiness, and money is a major tool to achieve that. So as you build wealth, measure progress not only in dollars, but also in the degree of autonomy those dollars grant you. Truth number 49. Know when enough is enough. And that automatically brings us to one of the most important financial skills we could possibly know: avoiding the insatiable pursuit of more. Many of us risk what they have and need for something they don't have and don't need. and then they end up losing everything. This is not just about greed in financial terms, but also applies on a much grander scale. Think of all the workaholics or unhappy athletes that always need more and more, usually at the cost of personal relationships, health, and time. In the end, they end up with only one thing: regret. Set defined goals for yourself and recognize the point at which additional wealth has diminishing returns on your happiness or comfort. If your portfolio hits the number that secures your retirement, be cautious about doubling down on high-risk bets just to chase an even higher number. Balance ambition with contentment. Remember the story of the businessman and the fisherman. The businessman drives himself crazy to retire rich and relaxed, only to find the fisherman already enjoys that lifestyle with much less. Strive, but not to the point where you jeopardize your peace or core needs for an extra zero on your net worth. There are many things never worth risking, no matter the potential gain. Having enough is truly having it all. Once you've made it, there's only one major difference you'll really have to focus on. Truth number 50. Building wealth versus keeping wealth. The skills and mindset needed to build wealth aren't the same as those needed to preserve and grow it. Becoming rich often requires optimism, boldness, and risk-taking, whereas staying rich requires humility, caution, and fear of losing what you've gained. In practical terms, this means once you've accumulated a substantial portfolio, you might shift to a more conservative strategy to protect it. Many people go bust after making a fortune because they kept swinging for fences as if they had nothing to lose. Don't fall into that trap. As your assets grow, emphasize capital preservation alongside growth. Embrace a bit of paranoia. Ask, what could wipe me out? And safeguard against it through diversification, insurance, or reducing leverage. Maintain a margin of safety in investments. Don't assume everything will go perfectly, and don't risk money you can't afford to lose. Recognize that luck played a part in any big success, so avoid overconfidence. Be aggressive in earning and investing early on, but increasingly conservative as you become financially comfortable, to ensure you don't backslide. As we move towards the 55th and final crucial truth that will turn you into a true money master, let's work through a couple quick ones that will add tremendous value to your life as early as tomorrow. Truth number 51. Patience plus consistency beats brilliance. Markets will have booms and busts. Media will blare sensational headlines, and people around you may succumb to fads or panic. But successful money masters avoid getting distracted by market noise, focusing instead on fundamentals and long-term trends. When you hear that the market is crashing or stock X is skyrocketing, take a breath. Remember your strategy and time horizon. If you're investing for a goal 10+ years away, a bad week or year in the market is largely irrelevant to your end result, other than possibly being a good buying opportunity. Patience also applies to careers and businesses. Overnight success is rare, and wealth almost always comes slowly at first, and then, suddenly, later. Trust in the power of incremental progress. As long as you're on a solid path, stay the course and tune out the short-term chatter that doesn't help your plan. The average man wants quick results and abandons good strategies when they don't see immediate returns. Luckily, you now understand compound growth takes time, and that consistency beats brilliance in the long run. Truth number 52. Optimism wins. Pessimism fails. Pessimists sound intelligent, while optimists make money. Doom and gloom predictions get attention and seem prudent, but in reality, broad optimism about the future has been the winning bet historically. The global economy tends to grow, innovation continues, and markets recover from crashes more often than not. Pessimism can trick you because it sounds logical and cautious. Hearing about market crashes or economic collapse scenarios scare us into inaction or panic selling. Maintain rational optimism. Expect that despite setbacks, things will generally improve over the long run due to human progress and resilience. This means not losing sight of the big picture when facing short-term negativity. During a recession, an optimist sees an opportunity to buy stocks on sale for the eventual recovery. It's been Warren Buffett's bread and butter for decades. Be the optimist, but an informed one. Acknowledge challenges, yet ultimately bet on growth and improvement. Truth number 53. The FOMO trap is real. Do everything in your power to understand your industries, assets of choice, and every individual transaction. Go a step further than everybody else in becoming an expert of that field. You'll figure at least one thing out that others have missed. Therefore, you should only invest in companies and sectors you can truly evaluate. By staying in your circle of competence, you reduce the risk of being blindsided. This doesn't mean you can't ever expand into new areas. Just do so gradually, with extensive learning or alongside experts. Pass on a hot stock tip in a sector you don't get, and instead put that money into something more predictable to you. Probably the biggest mistake a regular investor makes is investing in things they don't understand because they hear about others making money with it. They fall for the FOMO trap, the fear of missing out. The successful ones stick to what they know and understand. They would rather miss an opportunity than lose money on something they don't comprehend. Truth number 54. The perfect opportunity doesn't exist. A common regret people have is not invest into something or not building a business. It's the perfectionism and waiting for ideal conditions that lead to missed opportunities here. There is always going to be some risk, some extra challenge, or some reason for why it possibly wouldn't work out. We'll just have to accept that and decide to go for it anyway. So many of us stay stuck in the research phase without ever having any skin in the game. It's actually the moment you start that you will learn the most. Practical knowledge trumps the theory every time. Take initiative and begin your financial plan today, even if you feel it's not optimal. The act of starting creates momentum and kicks off the learning curve. Of course, prepare and do your homework, but avoid analysis paralysis. As soon as you have a reasonable plan, put it into action. You can adjust course as you learn, but you can't catch up on lost time. Every year you wait is a year of potential returns or experience lost. And then, finally, we arrive at the one truth which is pretty much guaranteed to have the biggest impact on your life in general. Truth number 55. The underlying reason for all success. Machiavelli's most impactful principle has also been a common trait among every self-made millionaire that ever existed, and at the same time, it's missing in about 90% of the general population. Especially in our modern times, this trait is more relevant than ever. The masses have been attacked relentlessly with psychological weapons, keeping everybody weak. From smartphones and social media to sexual content and alcohol. Basically, all forms of pleasure are causing mass stupidity, keeping us stuck on the hedonic treadmill of chasing the next high in whichever form it's available. What this does more than anything else is keep us distracted, and thus, the antidote would be self-focus. The cold, honorable pursuit of excellence, power, and true financial independence. For that to happen, you'll need the most fundamental human truth possible, and that is that delayed gratification is the ultimate ingredient for all success in life. To forego a small reward now for a larger reward later. To say no to an easy dopamine hit, a quick fix, or a comfortable choice. Literally every time, waiting yields a much bigger payoff. Delayed gratification applies to fitness, health, relationships, and most importantly, finance. Every rich person knows that temporary sacrifice leads to permanent abundance. You now stand at a crossroads that will determine your entire financial destiny. Down one path lies the comfortable familiarity of financial mediocrity, trading time for money, saving in accounts that lose value to inflation, hoping that somehow things will work out differently for you than they have for millions of others. Down the other path lies financial liberation, but it requires courage. The courage to reject everything you've been taught. The courage to play by rules the masses don't even know exist. The courage to think like Machiavelli in a world of financial sheep and start developing the ultimate human skill of delayed gratification. The game is now no longer rigged. Start playing it the right way.